I have a Graco 390 paint sprayer. When I use continuously for about 45 minutes to an hour, it will trip the GFCI on the plug that I'm plugged into, and I can't reset it without unplugging the sprayer. But if I wait for an hour, I can reset the GFCI and start using the sprayer again. Don't know if there is a thermal switch on the motor maybe that causes it to trip.
The GFCI breaker being designed to prevent accidental shock/electrocution will detect problems with a device that may otherwise go unnoticed. By your description, it sounds like it is happening in more than one location, so that pretty much eliminates the GFCI breakers as the problem and points toward a problem with the Graco. As it runs, it is normal for it to heat up to a certain point. A problem like a worn motor or worn cord would not necessarily be a hazard, but it could create a situation that would trip a GFCI but necessarily other breakers. I would check the cord first. The machine should not be run on an extension cord, the exception being heavy-duty cords made exclusively for commercial use. 14-gauge and even 12-gauge cords are not acceptable and can cause this and other problems. The best rule is do not use them. To test your machine's cord, use a visual inspection with it unplugged and cold. After enough use for the machine to warm up, or when the problem occurs, unplug the cord and check for warm spots. Often near the plug or the plug itself. The cord should never be hot or warm to the touch. If it is, it needs replacing. If the cord is not the problem, check the motor. The motor would run until it eventually operates a thermal cutoff if equipped, or burns itself out. You can test this with the motor hot but unplugged. You will have to be able to have access to spin the motor by hand. If the motor drags and will not spin freely, it is at fault and will need to be replaced. This is not an accurate test with a cold motor unless it fails to spin freely when cold. If neither of these are the problem, internal wiring and in the switches would be the next place to check. Switches should not be warm. Internal wiring could have loose connections or could be worn, causing a problem as the machine heats up. I will be glad to answer any questions you may have, Machinc. Note: the waiting period you are experiencing when this occurs can make it appear there is a thermal cutoff involved when actually the trouble is just temporarily going away as the machine cools. Machinc.
I don't see how it can be the cord I'm using for it is on a 10-to-2 with ground. I can plug the rig into a non-key plug and not have any problems with it. I know that those keys are very sensitive, and the rig is only about 2 years old. I replaced the transducer which controlled the pressure 3 months ago. Took the cover off, and there is little to no wiring involved in this, except what's in the motor itself. Maybe they're starting to develop a short somewhere in the winding of the motor.
Cord was just one possibility, and is always a good place to start. Even a new one could become damaged. If everything looks okay, the motor could be the problem. It's more the use than the years, so if used on the job a lot, it could be worn. The GFCI circuits are more sensitive, so it is feasible it would not act up when connected to non-GFCI. This does indicate, however, that there is a possible problem in the unit.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.